Check out what I found on eBay. Cheap shaft rockers. Well, they are, I guess, a shaft rocker attempt, kind of like the Yellow Terra Australian rockers that are, just paired shaft rockers. I mean, they're kind of a poor copy, I guess, but they were cheap. I got the set for, a full set of them for $129 plus tax. And you can see they are attached. And they are like, they're 1/6 rockers and they're 3/8 stud. I'm not sure if the PC's on the normal cheap stainless eBay deals or not. I've never actually owned any eBay, cheap rockers. I usually prefer to go with quality rockers. Like I got some Crower and some comp cams. I got several sets of those comp cam models. I really like those. I only got the Crowers because they were a good deal. They're kind of a bit pricey for me. And I recently picked up a nice set of these Scorpions, although they're kind of bulky for aluminum rockers, but they were cheap. Another eBay deal, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about these, I guess, rip-off overseas shaft rockers. Now, being that they're shaft rockers, you can't just bolt them onto the head, onto the stud. I mean, they kind of need like a stop. Like the Yellow Terras, they come with like a stand or something that it'll bolt down onto. If you never heard of them, here's a few examples of Yellow Terra rockers. Well, if I'm saying the name right. And these didn't. These just came with, these were just the rockers. They didn't even come with nuts. I mean, I already had these. I mean, if I do use them, I'm going to use these basic poly-lock nuts. Just some Proform cheapies that I had laying around, but I bought for something else. And I'd probably use these studs that I have left over from when I, drilled and tapped those Vortex heads. I bought 2 sets and I have another set. So I would try and make these work, just to see, what they're like. I mean, the Yellow Terras, last I knew, I think they're close to 1,000. I mean, maybe 800 to 1,000. I don't know, but still, that's more than a set of Crowers. If I'm gonna spend 800 to 1,000, I'm gonna go full on, all 8 shaft type deal. Where you machine the head and so on, not just this, I guess, workaround or hack, or I don't know what you would call it. It is what it is. But I probably wouldn't use a stud with a hex on it, because what I think I'm gonna have to do is make like a stand or a sleeve that goes here to locate them, because you can't just being that they're connected, 2 of them, you can't just lash each one separately. You're gonna have to do them about the same, and you're gonna have to figure out what push rod length you need and just bolt them down. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna work out using these yet, and it probably won't be for a while until I give it a shot. I mean, it's kind of why I'm gonna make this video, see if anyone has any ideas. I considered using modifying, cutting up and modifying this LS rocker stand, whatever it is, and but they're actually too big for the slot in the bottom of the rockers. And if you look at pictures online of the Yellow Terra or even the LS rockers, this opening is much bigger. Could try to grind them out, but bearings. I mean, like I said, this doesn't even fit in there. You see right here, it's just a bit too wide. And they're definitely too long compared to the slot length. I mean, if you put this on there right now, even if you narrowed it up, it wouldn't have no room to no room to probably pivot. So I mean, it's just no room to rock. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. I mean, plus I'd have to drill these out because they're metric, and I'm going to use standard or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see if I've wasted my $130 or if I can figure it out someday. But I just thought this was interesting. Like I said, they look like they're the generic stainless, rockers that someone just put on a shaft and decided to sell them. There wasn't many, and you can still buy them by the pair, but the sets I saw, they've sold out, and there was like 10 of them. So I think if I used like some steel tube and just thin wall and put it on there, it'd probably work good enough, because they don't need to be super tight, because you're not really having a lot of pressure down on the rocker, more or less, you just need to keep them from going up. Like your standard, you know, between the valve and the push rod, there's nothing underneath these rockers. So it doesn't matter. You just need to initially locate it. So when you put the nut on there, they're both the same, because if you do them differently, you know, it's going to probably bind. If you want to make sure they're set the same, you know, same height. That's why you probably need to kind of stand and locate, because you get crocked like that, it's not going to be good. So, I don't know. Something to think about for the future. That I just thought was interesting. I'm like, this is kind of, you know, it's worth it to buy for the novelty. I think. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to figure these things out. Just if they'll actually work good. But I mean, you know, we'll see. Actually, I'm going to get out ahead here in a second, and we'll kind of mock it up for a minute and show you what I got. Alright, so I got the eBay shaft rockers mocked up on this eBay head. Seemed fitting. And before we get into that, I want to mention something real quick. Now, I also considered Ford rocker mounts, stands, or pedestal mounts, or whatever you want to call them. Because, you know, Ford also has a, you know, their older design, I guess, I don't know, where you put a block on here and, you know, bolt the rocker on, you know, no lash, just bam. And I saw some Scorpion ones, but they're like 50 bucks. And this was only 10 bucks to try, or 11 bucks. And, you know, I decided, by looks of them, the price wasn't worth trying them. They just didn't look right. I figured I could buy a, you know, a length of, you know, round tubing, you know, this is square, and just chop it up and make my own. So, anyways, here's what I found with the eBay shaft rockers. My idea of using those studs, they're probably going to work out too short. You see right here we got the Speedway stud that, you know, designed to go on top of a, you know, non-machined stud boss. And we got, you know, the ARP hex stud right here. You see right there? Because the stud is, I guess, shorter, that's not going to probably work out, because you get a little bit of push rod on there, you're just not going to have enough, you know, enough thread to tighten it down. You got probably enough on the ARP, but I mean, depending on your push rod length, I still probably like a longer stud just to be more comfortable. Next, open these valves right here. They're just taped in for now. I didn't feel like digging out my test springs and, you know, actually doing a serious mock-up, just kind of a rough. You can see right here, the position of the roller on the either valve is not ideal. They're both, you know, in, you know. So I mean, it's I don't know the spacing on this head, the valve spacing. I'm going to assume it's probably not stock, and these are maybe meant for stock heads. So I guess I'll have to dig out a Vortec head here in a minute. But I know the stud spacing is standard. Although there is a bit of slop, and you can, you got your side-to-side movement, so it'll allow for a little bit of, I guess, change, but I mean, it is a shaft, so I'm not sure what these were, you know, meant for. They're probably just something that they had a bunch of these rockers lying around. They go, you know what, we're going to slap them together and see people buy them. And they found someone like me to buy them. Anyways, let me drag out that Vortec head, and we'll see if the valve spacing better fits these rollers. And then we'll wrap this video up. Okay, so this is a GM 906 Vortec head. See right there for yourself. Casting number 906. And the eBay rockers, eBay shaft rockers, they don't look much better. I mean, the exhaust looks, it's an improvement. It's pretty much centered. The intake, we're still not looking good. I mean, I don't know if it would work, because I mean, I don't think the rocker would actually hit, because the roller's bigger than the rocker, so it's not gonna. I like it better, you know, more centered on the valve. I mean, it would work, you know. I mean, they're cheap. It is what it is, I guess. Now, I did try this. Oh, before I move on to that, you can see right here the studs, because these are, you know, the standard, you know, stock studs that have not been pulled out yet, look like they'd work good. So I mean, you know, put those suckers in there, and they're actually even a little bit longer, you know. So these would work out pretty good on a stock head with these. I mean, for stud length and rocker nut to get on there and tighten down, and, you know, have plenty of thread engagement. Anyways, back to what I was saying. You can see right here, if I pull this pair of rockers off and put it on another cylinder, the same thing. Now it's you know, still this side. So go over here, and again, it's still this side that's not ideal. Better, not ideal. So it is what it is. I did open up another set of rockers because there's, you know, this entire set to do an engine, you know, 4 per side, you know, 2 per box. And you can see right here, this set, again, good on the exhaust one, this cylinder. The intake, not ideal, but it's better. You can see that right there. So I mean, I guess they differ set to set. You see that one actually looks, you know, pretty good that way, but, you know, right there, not so good. I mean, it almost looks to me like the spacer is a little thicker on this one. So I mean, I don't know, they just got like a bin of parts and they're just slapping these things together. You know, that's what they're probably doing, whatever they're doing. I mean, they're machined for the, you know, the retainer clip right here. So I mean, and there is a little bit of play, but not a lot. Just a little. So I don't know. It is what it is. I'll figure it out, or well, I bought these actually back in spring, so they're mine. There's no returning these. You know, it is what it is. I thought, you know, once again, to me, it was worth buying just for the novelty value. You know, check them out, mess around with them. You know, I'll put them on a future engine someday. You know, see if I can get them to work, see how they last. You know, it is what it is. It won't be like a, you know, high-end engine, just something slapped together. And maybe that's what they're meant for, like, you know, those budget brownie rounders or something. I don't know. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting and figured I would share. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think I just wasted my $130? Probably. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Keep it real.